It's that time of the month. Though now that I word it that way, I could see how maybe that's not the best way. But ignoring that, we're here to talk about achievement of the week and achievement of the month for March. So this is, of course, going after all of is said and done. But I kind of want to go overview on the event. And at this point, we have a decent set of games to kind of determine whether it's been a good event or not, because we do have 6 more games joining in. And so quickly going through this, April will be a little lacking because it just happens to be because of the day amount that April 6th was the final day for this one. So this is actually pretty far into April, and we'll probably I think we see 3, or no, barely see 4 achievement of the weeks, along with the achievement of the month for April. So that'll be for next week, but we have quite a bit to talk about as we go into it. So I need to pull up the games because I forgot them. But we have the Arcana Heart 2, which is a fighting game. It was interesting. Sabrina, the animated series, Zapped for Game Boy Color, Polaroid Pete, which I have found to be a pretty good game, and we'll talk about it. Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. We love Katamari, which is always a good time. And we have Pokemon Emerald. So, when it comes to these games overall, we're going to go in Achievement Week order because I think that's fair for everybody. Uh, let's talk about Arcana Heart 2. So, at first glance, I really thought that this was going to be a fun experience because it's one of those things of it looks good. It just looks good. And the achievement was only to finish the arcade mode with default settings, which at first glance doesn't seem that difficult. But if I'm gonna be honest, it's one of the more annoying achievements. Not because of the achievement itself, but because of the game. The game has this really annoying problem where if you pick any character, you're gonna get to the final 2 fights and you're gonna be frustrated. Uh, because it's just brutally hard and you are learning the game. If this is the first time you're ever playing this game, which for 98% of people it is, it's actually pretty brutal. I didn't really like it as a fighting game. I it's funny. I think I'm gonna put it here just because I feel like it actually doesn't do that high. As a kind of fighting game person, I wouldn't say I'm good, but as somebody who's played a lot of fighting games, I found myself struggling a bit to do the default character through it, and I actually just switched to a cheaper, more broken other character with ridiculous range, which I feel is kind of not the answer. It wasn't bad. I don't want to say it was a bad game. It was definitely just the most mid of experiences. Uh, yeah, but then we have beat the game for Sabrina the animated series Zapped. Now, when it comes to this game, I don't think the game is good, flat out. Like, and achievement of the week voting is a little messed up right now, in my opinion, because everybody is going for what they think is like a platformer that's slightly easier or whatever have you. And Zapped kind of fits that mold, except it's just boring. It's really boring. I didn't enjoy it. Uh, like the game itself, I could definitely see the set being a good set design, but even while I was playing it, I didn't really feel like I wanted to go out of my way to get more achievements. In fact, like as somebody who sometimes plays games that I don't like for more points, for someone like me to feel like that usually means the game is just not great. Uh, there was some. I do think like beating the game for achievement of the week is pretty fair. It was only like a 2 hour, 3 hour experience. But I do think Sabrina is a terrible game for this. But next we get Polaroid Pete, which this is beat the 5th level, I believe. It's the historic town. You basically just need to complete the objective in historic town, which was actually a kind of little hidden way of doing it, because all the previous levels you can find them just by playing the game, really, or looking around specifically. You take a picture, I've described this game before. I've kind of covered it. It's really interesting, and it's a game I didn't really like ever tackle before. I've seen it, and in fact, I do own a copy. But it's one of those things where I didn't really expect it to be as good, and at the same time to be like just fun. And I actually think Polaroid Pete's probably my personal favorite achievement of the week so far. I think it highlighted a game that doesn't get highlighted enough. It also, at the same time, the achievement wasn't just free. Uh, because if you look at the other levels before this, yeah, if you had picked that, it would have been free because it's just the normal objective. There's no hidden stuff. This is the objective, but the objective is hidden behind certain restrictions, and it's not just, hey, here you go, have fun. It's much more, have you thought about this game, have you listened to the dialogue, have you searched up how to do it, and there's a bunch of ways of figuring it out, which I appreciate from a game perspective, from a player. It's definitely the only secure A tier in my opinion right now. Hexen's very, very low A, but I think Polaroid Pete came through. Also, I'm not going to say the name of this achievement because it, it's like Shashin no Kuni, I think. But I always struggle with the Shashin stuff, which I'm pretty sure I'm saying wrong. But next, we have Magnetic Mastery from Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. Just a good game, and this is like halfway through the game. Uh, I think this is actually a pretty good achievement design. uh, or achievement of the week design, because I didn't really want to play this game. It takes a specific mood really for a puzzle like that. Uh, and I was just not in the mood, but you could go through it in like literally 30 minutes. It's really fast. The hardest thing in the game is bosses with minimum minis, because basically a really cool game idea is the as you beat levels with the minis, you get more lives in quote against the bosses of each and every stage. So it's actually really cool. I like it a lot. Um, I'm probably gonna put it here in B. It sits in solid B. There's really no low B in my opinion. I guess you could argue Chibi Robo, but I'm not gonna be that type of an asshole. Um, and so yeah, I think it's a solid B tier. I do think we there's some better examples, but hey, it's overall a pretty good time. Overall, so far, having a fantastic time with these achievement choices, which goes in. We love Katamari. I love Katamari as a game. Uh, it is. I don't want to say it's one of the best relaxation games of all time, but I do, if that makes sense. Uh, it's definitely inherently special, and I think it loads up on the top B tier. The only reason it's not any higher is because it's just in We Love Katamari, you eventually unlock this level. I think for a lot of people, it'll be around the third to fourth to fifth level at like the kind of normal, but you can wait, like get unlucky and just kind of miss out on it until even the eighth or ninth level, which kind of brings in some RNG elements. But as somebody who already had a save file with this unlocked, I just had to reset it and then go back through it, which was really cool. But overall, I do think it was a pretty solid time. I do love when we explore games that I think are inherently good quality. Uh, and like there's some surprise stuff like Polaroid P. I don't think it's one of the best games of all time. It's just I think it's a very underappreciated game, right? Whereas We Love Katamari or even Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, I think are just inherently good games that it's nice to like see highlight for people that maybe have not played them. This is a Mario game that not a lot of people like will pay attention to nowadays. Like back in the day when it came out, yes, a lot of people were very hyped for it because Mario, but it all depends on just timing and everything. I feel like highlighting stuff like that versus like uh I'm not gonna get into it now, but like a Super Mario Bros. 2 is a lot better of a time than anything else. But next we have the final thing for March. I almost said April. Uh, this because these ended April 6th, so it's kind of weird. Technically, they had like 1 day in March, but it's what we have to cover. This Pokemon Emerald, and a lot of people would be like, "Well, you're biased. You like Pokemon a lot." I do. I'm gonna be the guy to say this. I I think it's just okay. I do think it's better than Chibi Robo because Chibi Robo's is like something you could sit there and struggle with. I just think fast forward as a mechanic for achievement of the month is not necessarily a great time. Personally, I do think this covers everything with the game that you want if you want people to get into Pokemon, but I don't think Pokemon Emerald was the one to choose. I think Pokemon Emerald has this inherent like stopping point uh, in the game, which is right after Norman. I feel like a lot of people will stop after Norman and not go east of Mobile to actually move on. There's also just a lot of areas where I understand people don't really like. You have to dive in a certain area to get to the eighth gym. You have to dive, and you just have to do a lot of stuff that I feel like other Pokemon games don't necessarily highlight. I do want to state that there weren't that many options. I didn't want to see a Kanto game, and Johto itself, I feel like if you're doing the Elite Four at that point, that's gonna take like 10 minutes. It doesn't take that long. Uh, and if you're doing Red, for a lot of new players, it's actually kind of bullshit because the levels, and it's a lot of grinding if they're not good at the game or know what to do or however you want to say it. And I feel like as you get to the Gen 4, it gets a little too hard. So I do understand there was kind of a struggle here for the correct Pokemon game. I I just feel like Emerald has the biggest stopping point in the series to finishing the actual game. Uh, and of course, that's my opinion and stuff, but when it comes down to it's always an opinion thing. Overall, I do want to state that March was pretty good. I think the lowest was literally the fighting game, and that just happens to be with more my pro. Oh, that's not true. Sabrina's here. Never mind. March was pretty shit. No, March was pretty high. I don't think we have one D, one C, one, two, three Bs and one A, which is really good. And we have a true A. I don't want to say Hexen isn't a true A, but it's much more of I appreciate Hexen more than the achievement. Whereas Polaroid P, I appreciate it appearing in an event like this. Yeah, we had some really good ones. We love Katamari. And just to give a little round out, I probably should have done this in previous months, but the ones that I do plan to master down the lines is I'll probably go for Polaroid P at some point. I do plan for that. We love Katamari. I will actually master at some point. Emerald, of course, duh. It's just the way it be. And then I probably, if I'm up for it and feel like I I could waste my time, I might go for Sabrina because it's a very easy game to master. But yeah, more than likely it's Polaroid P. I will master. We love Katamari and Pokemon Emerald. But yeah, that's it for March. Overall, pretty exciting stuff. And funnily enough, because of the way the achievement of the week and month ended, we're actually only on the second week of April. We will only see 3 weeks or 4 weeks barely in April, which is a little killer. Not a lot going on, but we have the achievement of the month, which is interesting. But yeah, overall, so far so good. We are still in the middle of achievement of the week, uh, like event. If you haven't gone through and at least tried it out, I do recommend you try it out. It's very fun, uh, and I I think the badges look really good. I personally prefer the gold and kind of the silver to the champion. I do like the champion, but it's a little basic. I think I've described this earlier, but yeah, so far I don't think I really want to change any of my rankings. I was gonna potentially like increase and decrease stuff, and yeah, I know this is still grayed out. I was too lazy to grab the badge picture, um, but it'll be fixed next time, I'm sure, or I'll just leave it like that for fun. Uh, Nothing really needs to go up and down. I kind of thought about this before I started, whether I needed to change something based on how the event has gone, but I feel like I've covered kind of how I feel about all this. So overall, it's been a good time. And I'll catch you guys later.